Hey everybody, Raul here for Bass Musician Magazine, and today we have the extraordinary honor of chatting with the bassist for The Funeral Portrait, Robert Weston.
What's
Yay!
up? What's up?
So Robert, we've got a very exciting project you guys have been working on, Greetings from Suffocate City, and I know there's a lot of excitement and buzz around that, but as always, we like to go to the past. How did you get started in music and particularly on bass?
Crazy story. When I was growing up, my dad always wanted me to get on guitar. He bought me a guitar. He wanted me to take lessons. But going through my youth and even my high school years, I was just so focused on playing hockey. Like, that was the goal. That was the dream. Is to be able to one day play in the NHL. I remember probably my junior year, I went to my first show and I saw Guar and
Hmm.
Shadows Falls. And I was just like blown away watching the stage show and everything. And I was like, I need to do that. That looks awesome. So what I did is I had a buddy who had just like a Fender P bass, like starting model, and he let me borrow it. So I just looked up tabs and I tried figuring it out. So yeah, that's how I got like my first bass and everything. I quickly joined a local band in Rochester, New York, because I didn't know anything about theory or music or anything. My theory is kind of whatever. But they're the ones that taught me how to play the bass for
Okay.
that style of music. The band is actually had Danny from Ashes to New,
Hmm.
their vocalist. It was me and him, and I did that band for about 7 years, I guess, until Danny ended up getting picked up from Ashes to New. And at the time, me and my drummer Homer didn't have a band. So then I jumped. We did some minor touring with Vanity Strikes, is what it was called,
Hmm.
and The Funeral Portrait. We did 2 tours together. So Lee called me up and he goes, "Hey, you need a band? I need members." So me and Homer made the jump into The Funeral Portrait. And that's kind of how I got started. I always, throughout my earlier days, I was like the figure it out guy. So I always tried to book the tours for the band.
Yeah.
I was the financial guy too. And like, I found like I was decent. I was good enough to play bass, but I really thrived with the logistical things and the business side of things. So I also got into, I filled in for bands on tours, like I did Mindless Self-Indulgence, their farewell tour in 2014
Hmm.
with another band I played bass for. And then I also did a lot of tour managing. So I worked for Glass Cloud for a few tours. Then I Set My Friends on Fire for a few tours. I got in with From Ashes to New, and I did them from like 2017 to 2019. And then I just recently, about a year and a half ago, I did merch on a tour for them too. So I just always wanted to be in the industry.
Hmm.
And that's kind of how I got my foot in the door with things. I wanted it so bad, and I want any way to figure it out. And that kind of gave me the knowledge to
Yeah.
get to where I am today and, start doing well with it, you know?
Nice. Nice. Well, I guess it's safe to say that for most part, you're self-taught with a little help from your friends as you were going along, right?
100%, 100%.
Well, and the other skills are super valuable. And I think, especially when you think of how music has evolved, because kind of back in the old days, a band might get a manager, might get somebody to do all of this stuff.
Yeah.
But with I'm going to say the kind of the big labels, they're still out there, but so many people are doing independent work. So many people are
Hmm.
running their own show. They're not linked necessarily to a major brand or a label. You do have to kind of be a jack of all trades. And I have to say, it's been on more than one occasion. We've had bands couch surfing at our place because they were passing through, and it was kind of the same kind of thing. We're like, okay, we needed a place to sleep and do our laundry and maybe eat some
Oh, yeah.
pizza, so
Yep.
it is all a process. And then once you have those skills, there are some bassists. If I recall correctly, I think David Ellefson has the business side where I know he's involved with coffee. He's got his coffee company, but he also was doing kind of band promotion and band management and stuff, because you learn it as you go. You get it figured out
Exactly.
and you go, well, if I can do it for us, I can do it for someone else, so that
Yeah,
all
yeah.
works out.
Like, I would love to eventually, like, when we're big enough and I have a little bit more of a name in the music world, to be able to like pick up bands. Like, I would love to do a record label someday.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd be a good A&R, Yeah, I really thrive on that end of things. Like, I'm okay at bass, but like performing and logistics, like that's my specialty. So
We definitely should talk with this new deluxe edition, Greetings from Suffocate City. This is more than just an album. This is kind of more of almost an immersive experience,
yep.
if I could call it that. I've had a chance to look. Your website, thefuneralportrait.com, that homepage is like a small village, and you go into the library or the
Town
Bucky's
hall,
related gas station,
yeah.
or the, and there's a massive amount of videos linked to it and all that.
hmm
Tell us about this project. This is huge.
So like for us, we just want to stand out. We want to be different, and I feel like a lot of bands nowadays don't have like a clear image. Like they put out good songs or good music, but like what's going to keep the people coming back besides that? So we're really focused on imagery. We're really focused on our videos, telling a story in the videos, and we're just, I can't take credit for it because I'm not that creative. But like Lee, my singer, Caleb, my guitarist, they're like, this is their brainchild for this record.
Gotcha.
So they've really put together everything. Like every music video kind of connects. There's only one or two that doesn't really, but we wanted to do something that people can hold on to it. Like you see bands like My Chemical Romance, where every album's a different story. It's just that's what keeps the people invested in it, because every time you put something out, they want to see the next thing. We want to have the lore. We do this thing called Beyond the Abyss, which is like a little Instagram series with a guy named Irving Westtown who's looking for his son, and we try to implement that into the entire story of Suffocate City. Like we even had Irving Westtown come out for a hometown show in Atlanta and
Wow.
do like a little skit before we played. And like so we just really want to be over top. We want to be that theatrical band because people love that stuff, man. They
Oh.
love seeing the website where it connects all the dots, and not enough bands are doing that nowadays.
Gotcha.
You
Well, it
we
was like
want
a
to be
little bit of a
different.
double take because I almost thought I was going into a video game when I hit the main
Yeah,
page. I'm like, wait, what am I getting into? Am I on
yeah,
the right spot? But it's totally, very creative, and you have a target audience. I think it's in the opening video. The mention is that it's the band for the broken, the weird, and kind of the disenfranchised.
yep, yep.
So you're building a community within the scaffolding of your town. Has this always been kind of the approach?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I feel like there's not enough of that in the hard rock world or in the rock and roll world. We really want to be community driven, fan driven. We support, everything out there, especially the LGBTQ community. Like, that's something that doesn't really have a place in the rock world yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we do this thing called, like, emo boys kissing. Me and my guitarist, we kiss on stage. People go wild over it. Like, we're trying to be so inclusive with everybody because that's what's going to that's where all the diehard fans come from, is
Exactly.
feeling closer to us. I mean, we're not like a lot of other bands where, there's paid VIPs and you have to pay to meet us. We'll literally all go out to the merch table after a show. We'll
Mm-hmm.
all sign stuff. And I think people having that ability to see us and meet us and see our personalities and talk to us, that's what just keeps them so included into the band. That's one thing we've always strived for. Like we could definitely do a paid VIP, but for us it's not about that right now. Like we're just building, and this is how
Nice.
we're building it.
Well, and for a lot of people, again, music carries well beyond the shows. I mean,
Yes.
we listen to it. It's the soundtrack of our life. If we have something going on, and especially people that are disenfranchised, using kind of the general term, if you
Mhm.
have something that you can relate to, you're going to listen to it at home. You're going to listen to it in your car. You're going to listen to it when you're walking around, just taking a
Yep.
hike. It is more than that, and it's kind of a more inclusive lifestyle too. And I think, especially with as music has evolved, rock was, you go all the way back like to Elvis. It was very much a rebellious kind of thing, and they were kind of like, well, those awful rockers or those, reefer madness kind of people that are just outcasts of society. But there needs to be a place for everybody to kind of identify and live. So that's just, it's tremendous. Now, it's always kind of interesting, especially with the kind of music. We'd like to talk a little bit about gear and how you're getting your sound. What particular things are you using?
Okay, so I have a Fender PJ bass, Jaguar, and I've been using that for a while. And then my backup bass is a Spectre 4 Coda. And then for my tone, I know I have a Rupert Neve DI box. And then I have a Dark Glass Microtube Infinity. Mm-hmm. So I know my sound guy explained it to me because he's the mad genius. He just puts it all together and I play through it.
Yeah.
I know there's a pre and post tone. It goes through a D Live. And that's what pushes out to the crowd. And honestly, it sounds amazing. Like those Dark Glass pedals, that's all you really need nowadays, man.
Yeah. And I've heard so many of them in hands of different players, and they're very versatile too. And so
very.
Basically, if you've got your Dark Glass and maybe a tuner, you're pretty much about set.
Exactly. Yeah. We try to make it, because I used to run through a Kemper, but we really want to downsize everything. That way we're able to, fly out to shows and not have to carry more stuff because, we all have 3 Kempers going. So, yeah, it works. It's literally on one drawer that I just slide out. I could tune. I could do all my stuff.
Nice.
And we just wanted to make it stupid simple.
Nice. Nice. And do you have a preference in strings, perhaps? Anything there?
Ernie Ball. I play 110s to 55s. But I play in standard and drop D. I like a heavier gauge.
Gotcha.
I like the attack on it a lot more. But yeah, I love Ernie Ball. I would love to get over to their basses soon. But that's in the future,
There you go.
I'm ready for it.
Well, as we all know, gear acquisition syndrome and the search for your perfect instrument is an ongoing thing with many people. And if you're lucky and you find something you like from the get-go, that's perfect. And then the secondary thing, if I recall correctly, Jaguars are a little on the heavy side.
Actually, mine is very light.
Oh, good.
It's very light. I don't know if you've seen any of my photos, but like one of my stage moves I do is I'll hold it in my teeth and bite onto it and hold it upright.
Oh, wow.
And like let my hands go. So like I need a lighter bass to be able to continue doing that because I think that's like my shining moment of the set.
Nice.
But now I have bite marks all at the top of my bass. I put a little gaff tape there to soften the blow, but...
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I think most of us where we equate the weight is when we're wearing it on our shoulders, but not many people are doing acrobatics with their instruments.
Exactly.
I hadn't taken that into account.
No, like whatever my next bass will be, I need it under a certain weight. Like... I have to be able to do that. That's my thing,
Nice. Well, and as we speak, I know you guys are currently on tour and kind of the ongoing process. Tell us a little bit about your tour plans.
So right now we're doing some shows with the Used, and then we'll jump on a handful of shows with Under Oath, which is really cool. Both bands are bands we grew up loving. So it feels pretty unreal to be out here playing with them. Mm-hmm. We'll do some headlining dates with our buddies the Rasmus, as well as Archers and Glass Waves. And then we'll jump on tour with Ice Nine Kills and The Word Alive and Melrose Avenue, I think they're called. They're from Australia. So we're basically on the road till about mid-June right now.
Okay.
And then I know we got some stuff in the works for the summers. I can't really talk about it yet until it's solidified. And we got some stuff in the fall that's coming that just wait until it's solidified. But we do end the year in Europe as well. With the Rasmus. We'll be out there in November and December. But we got a bunch of festivals, Rocklahoma, Sonic Temple, Rockville, Rockfest. We're doing U-Fest with the Day to Remember in Arizona. We're doing Hogfest with Manson and Five Finger Death Punch, which we got to tour with them last year, and that was incredible. Mm-hmm. The bands and the crews were just extremely great to us.
Nice.
So, we're doing Louder Than Life. We're on main stage of this year. So that's cool. So we're staying pretty busy.
Nice. Well, and if people want to know where you're going to be, and I know, as you mentioned, there's a lot of things that you can't talk about just yet. The website, thefuneralportrait.com, is that the best place to look?
Yes, sir.
How about social? Is that another
Yep, TFP_devotion for both Instagram and Twitter, and
Okay.
then our Facebook page. I mean, we post the dates all the time. They're constantly up there with ticket links, so we're super easy to find.
Nice. Well, and I don't want to forget to mention as well, and as you mentioned, so many other bands, some of the tunes you've got in this project, you've got guest performers as well. Tell us
Yep.
a little bit about that aspect.
Well, we got Bert from the Used on the song "You're So Ugly When You Cry," which for us that was like the most unreal one because like we just love the Used. We all grew up listening to them,
Mm-hmm.
and he was kind of the first guy to do a feature for us. And then obviously we got Danny Warsnop from Asking.
Mm-hmm.
That he did Dark Thoughts with us. Lilith Czar, she did Hers for Two with us, and then Ivan Moody,
Mm-hmm.
Five Finger Death Punch on Holy Water. That song's doing really good at radio right now, which
Nice.
I'm very stoked on. And the King Spencer Charnas from Ice Nine Kills, he did Suffocate City with us, and that ended up going #1 at Billboard Rock Radio this past year. So it was cool getting our first song that went to terrestrial radio ended up going #1.
Nice.
So it's absolutely crazy to us. We're still such a small band in our opinions. The fact that happened is unreal. Like we have a great label, great team, and they really did a lot of good work for us.
Very cool. Well, and the fact that there's this collaboration, I think it's something that comes up with festivals and things because you
Hmm.
meet people, you network, you go,
Yep.
hey, this would be cool to do, and you just never know what contact you make today that might lead to some really great thing tomorrow. So again, it's a much bigger collaboration. And I know I've said it probably numerous times. I wish the rest of the world could learn from musicians how to get along.
I know, right? I know. No, we love networking. Like we love talking to people. We're just like we like hanging out, like making friends. We're
Yeah,
all none of us are really socially awkward, and when we get in those situations, we just love hanging and talking. And
yeah.
we've gotten to meet a lot of cool people that
Hmm.
hopefully will potentially be on songs in the future, or we could do tours with in the future. But it's just really cool again to meet some of your idols out here and doing this, and then they know your band and they're stoked on your band. It's super cool feeling. We're
Very.
not used to it. It's just like because our blow up really happened in the last, let's say, 8 months, 9 months.
Mm,
So that getting that Five Finger Manson tour started it off for us.
yeah.
And ever since then, it feels like we're just at a good trajectory. So yeah.
Well, and I think for so many people, they also have to have in mind that this didn't happen overnight. You guys have been
No,
working at
no.
it. I mean, the band has been going since 2014, so you've got more than a decade
Yep.
collaborative there. And you work at it, you work at it, you work at it. I think the notion that I'm gonna as romanticized, well, I'm just gonna get a guitar and I'm gonna go out and be a star immediately is
No.
is a
Yeah. I
fantasy
mean,
of the greatest kind.
all of us, even before this band, everybody's been grinding for 13, 14 years. And I'm thankful that I'm in a band with a bunch of guys who see the vision.
Mm-hmm.
We know where it's going to go. But for so many years, we all ate shit,
Yeah.
whether it was in this band, whether it was in other bands. And everybody wants this. There's not one person that's like, no, man.
Yeah.
This is what we all want to do for a living. And we're going to do whatever it takes to get there.
Nice. Well,
And it's hard to find. So,
and getting along together, finding people that you're because you spend maybe what an hour on stage, hour and a half or two, but you
mhm.
spend 22 of them with the rest of your bandmates. So
Exactly. Yep.
it's
We got 9 people in this RV.
oh
So
wow.
like we spend a lot of time very close together, but we all really enjoy each other. It's a good vibe, and I see other bands out there where like it's more of a business thing,
Mm-hmm.
but we're all genuinely friends, and you see it when we play on stage, like the interactions we have between all of us. You see that we're all friends.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, Robert, we appreciate you taking time from your busy schedule from on the road out of your RV We're very excited about Greetings from Suffocate City. Folks, make sure you check that out. Check out the website, thefuneralportrait.com, and all the socials. You've seen him here on Bass Musician Magazine, Robert Weston.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, dude. This was fun.
Thank you.